Happy Monday, second graders. For today's read aloud, I'm going to read a short story called On Thin Ice. And as I read, I want you to pay attention to how I chunk words as far as punctuation goes. Now, you won't be able to see the commas and the periods, but when good readers read, they use punctuation to chunk words into phrases so we know when to pause. So when I get to a period, I'm not just running right into that next word so it sounds like one giant run-on sentence. And also as I read, I'll be asking you to answer a few short questions, so try to pay attention. On Thin Ice. Shoni and his brother Toby lumbered lazily across the ice in the direction of the sun. The two polar bears were feeling a little too warm because the sun stayed in the sky all day and all night during the Arctic summer. Toby felt particularly mean today. So at this point, I want you to stop and think, who are Toby and Shoni? Toby and Shoni are two young polar bears. I don't mean to brag, said Toby, but I am much stronger than you. Toby often said things like this when he felt hot and grumpy. I also want you to stop and think, where is the setting of this story? Remember, the setting is where the story takes place. And the setting of this story is the Arctic summer. So now let's find out what happens to Toby and Shoni. Shoni raised himself up on his hind legs, reaching his full height of 8 feet. "You are not," he shouted. The brothers were just about to wrestle when Toby saw something strange. It looked like an ice tunnel. Carefully, the bears walked toward the strange sight until they could see inside. It was dark and eerie. "I dare you to go in," said Toby. "No way I'm going in there," answered Shoni. "You are a scaredy bear," laughed Toby in a sing-song voice. "Mom told you not to tease me," Shoni shouted. "I'll show you." With that, Shoni started to crawl toward the tunnel. He took one step inside and disappeared out of sight with a swooshing sound. A little scared, Toby curled up and wondered where Shoni had gone. While Toby waited for his brother to return, Shoni was getting the ride of his life. Why does Shoni go into the tunnel? He wants to show Toby that he's not afraid, and that's why he goes into the tunnel. Inside the tunnel was like a twisty blue slide. Shoni slid faster and faster. As he flew down the ice, it got darker and bluer until he splashed into the coldest water he had ever felt. Looking up, Shoni saw that he was trapped under the ice. "Help!" he cried with a trembling voice. Toby heard Shoni's cry. "I'll go get Mom," he shouted, and ran as fast as he could to find their mom. Mom came and used her strong claws to carefully climb down the ice tunnel. Ever so slowly, Mom brought Shoni back up, using her sharp teeth to drag him to the top of the ice. Mom and Shoni shook vigorously to dry their fur. As Mom continued to shake her fur, the bears stood quietly. They knew they had broken one of Mom's rules: never go in where you can't see out. Sadly, Shoni began to lick the paw he had cut on the sharp tunnel wall. Finally, Mom took a deep breath and spoke quietly. "The ice is getting thinner every year," she said sadly, "and it's just not safe to crawl into cracks or tunnels." "We'll be more careful from now on," said Toby and Shoni together. Soon, Shoni's paw healed, and he felt fine, but he never crawled into a mysterious ice tunnel again. All right, a few more questions. What does Toby do after Shoni calls for help? He went to go get help. He went to go get Mom, right? And then what lessons do you think Toby and Shoni learned from this misadventure? What do you think they might have learned from this? Well, one lesson they might have learned is listen to your mother, or don't go into risky areas that you can't see your way out of. Okay, so that was Monday morning. Read aloud. Have a good day.